if you see like most designers, like if you see like the website of the future or things like that, you will always see like a graphic designer with a cap, really clean, like shaved, sometimes no hair, like everybody like really uptight, you wearing like nice polos, like really like fancy dressing, nice pants, nice everything. And then you see this guy called Aaron James Joplin. He looks like a lumberjack, sounds like a lumberjack, acts like a lumberjack, never has.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion, and the person who's been gone sitting on a tractor for the last few lifetimes is back.
Hello, folks, I'm back. And our guest is, and oh boy, we're going to have a good one, is.
Hello, everyone. I'm DeathMap.
How did,
Ah,
Independent, yeah, independent digital artist and art director for PJKT and a few other places.
wow. So,
mm-hmm.
how'd you get started as a director in PJKT and with your being a detail artist? What got you started with everything?
Well, it's not really that I started like that. I started as the art lead, but mainly because I was basically kind of like already well known between the directors. So they decided, you know what, let's bring this guy in. And eventually I kind of like just showed that I had the passion and I had like a lot of the vision like shared between the team. So eventually kind of like that put me into the director role because there was kind of like that necessity for somebody to take that post there. But most of the time, like I'm still kind of like the art lead. Obviously, I kind of like my main thing is kind of like to give my 2 cents in decisions that directors make.
Hmm.
So it's a bit of advisor, but also my points and my votes count. So I still help with decision taking, but I don't like to think myself as, oh my god, I have like the big title, I'm the big guy, big boy with big pants. No, because um, I'm just still trying to do or find things that I like and that can help other communities and obviously help PGKT to keep expanding on the long run.
Okay. So, let's start with what got you into VR and how did you first get involved with PJKT?
So, actually, what got me in VR wasn't VR. So, there was this magnificent tool done by our overlords here in Mexico. Oh, by the way, I didn't explain that. So there's gonna be a little. I'm gonna need to deviate already just to give an extra lore. I'm from Mexico. I studied basically branding and marketing in Mexico. I studied for media production and motion graphics. And while I was studying there, there was a big convention um, in Mexico City, and I had to go there. Well, no, I didn't have to go there, but if I wanted, like the university was planning a trip to go there, and we went to see a bunch of big names of the industry. We got one of the Bancroft brothers. If you don't know who are the Bancroft brothers, they directed the animated film of Mulan, which is
Oh,
amazing. There was also the writer for Reese's, the writer and director for Over the Garden Wall. And between those guys, there was this guy called Goro Fujita, who was a developer and artist for a company previously known as Facebook.
oh,
And Goro brought up this Alienware laptop. Sorry for saying brands, I know. broke this gaming laptop, and he pulled out like these two like light posts, like because it was the way that the old Oculus run with. And then he showed this application called Wheel. Wheel was a 3D modeling artist kind of like application that allows you to do 3D models that you can toss into Blender or other softwares that you like Cinema 4D and so on. And that was really cool. And that's kind of like how I started my VR journey, because I saw that and I was like, man, this is amazing, because I love to sculpt IRL. Um, Most of the time I use the cactuses because it was really easy and really fun to draw a cactus. The Mexican draws cactuses. Anyways, no puedo, ok. Si escuchas esto ahorita, te tengo que asegurar que los cactus son muy fáciles de hacer en un mundo 3D. A translation of that. Cactus are just really easy to do in a 3D environment, especially when you're using like your controllers. And basically, I had to do. Well, I didn't have to do. I was like mesmerized by that tool. He also showed us like, from his perspective, like different films and animations that were being made in Quill. And that was amazing. I was mesmerized. It looked like 3D version of Flash, and that was something that I was really interested, because back when I was a kid, I used to watch Flash animations and things like that, and that was so like, whoa, like it was almost one to one, but somehow even better, because it was like immersive. You were there, like the animation was happening all around you. Obviously, there were like some parts that were kind of like hard to get into, or more than hard to get into, is it was hard to not get lost into that medium, because every artist that picked up that tool, they just decided to put like, pardon the said, 16 amounts the detail that they will do just in Adobe Flash, because you could really animate like almost every aspect of the environment, and it still look a little bit like Flash animation because it wasn't as detailed. Like you really had to send it to another software to add the extra detail and to add the extra hump, but we still had fun with Quill. After that, um, while I was learning about virtual reality, it was when people told me about this game called Vrchat, and I was like, I think I made an account for that in 2017 because I saw a display big name YouTuber having a chat between a skeleton and a few other people, like around a campfire in a medieval setting, and I was like, I think I have seen this before. And then you got a knuckles happen, and I tried to hop into it just to check what the heck was that. I went into the Ugandan island. I had to do like a weird jumping puzzle, but then after that day, it was like, eh, I'm gonna go back to Quill, and eventually, I don't know what happened. No, sorry. That was before I got into Quill, or I saw about Quill, but then like the thing that after I start thinking about getting into VR, it was that, well, I was like studying like what pieces for PC I need to make a good decent VR system, and what was kind of like all the requirements, like from the light of your that comes to your room, how direct light affects the VR headset, how they said how light different kinds of light bulbs I needed to. like during that whole investigation thingy, I got feeded by the YouTube algorithm videos about VRChat and VRChat funny moments and things like that. Drumsy, Swagger Souls, like a bunch of different people. And it was fun to the point that I was starting to try to check what was the community and the people really alike in there. And I decided to, before getting my first VR headset, which is still my only VR headset, an Oculus Rift S. Before getting that, I decided to hop in and just desktop in POX, basically.
Mm.
The Great POC, the best map of all time, Fight Me. So when that happened, I think I came back to VRChat just for what's this thingy? Just for not just for like I came for that, but I came back to VRChat just to get a good feel. It was right after Gunter's universe and the whole like Easter egg thing, and I was like, why is all people trying to fight to get into this one door, and what all are these things that people are talking about? I was like really weird because I came in a point of transition that there was really not that much going on.
Mm.
Like I didn't heard of most things happening. I didn't even knew about Virtual Market, and I believe Virtual Market 3 it was about to happen at that point. I believe. I don't fully remember. Um, basically, that was big part of the beginning area. From there to get into like PJKT, it was like freaking 4 years. No, not 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. God, what? Damn, I have been that long in here. Why?
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. Sneaks
Yeah.
up on you when you least expect it.
Like most things.
Mhm.
So you've been in here in the game for 2017, 7 years. Wow.
He just made it. He was happy with 4 years. Now you shove it down 7. He's going nuts. Ow.
No, no, I need to go back. I need to prevent myself from buying a headset. Swear to God. Oh my God. Okay. Uh,
Sorry for
existential
that.
crisis. I love it. Yeah.
I think that's the second one I
I'm
gave
not
you
that-
today. I'm sorry.
So the lore before this thingy, I was called to be here like an hour earlier than we agreed, and I was like, I was not ready. Like I thought I was gonna be here an hour late, but damn, you're over punctual, which is a good trait, honestly. But damn.
Yeah, fair warning.
Um,
I'm the person who leaves for work an hour before. Well, will arrive at work way early within an hour of when I'm supposed to work, and if I can't clock in, I'll just continue fucking around in my car until I got to go to work.
oh
I'm
my
one of those
God.
guys.
I also used to I used to do the same on the places that I worked. Like I kind of like I came like 15 minutes early, and then I still like 30 minutes late, and then I decided I'm not doing that much, honestly.
Well, besides me distracting you, how did you from when you
Yeah.
started playing VR chat more regularly? How did you get into PJKT?
So
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
that Yeah, there's not
God,
square
Ryan.
pants.
What the hell's up with you? My God, where you coming up with this shit? Holy shit! He's
he
taking
went
me.
so for a solid 3
I got
seconds.
it. You don't. I got it. You don't have to explain. I understand. I'm here. Remember? I know I haven't been in a while, but I've been here. Okay. Back to your question. Quit screwing the guy up. You're fucking
I'm
fucking him
sorry.
up. He's never gonna get. God, it's usually me doing this shit. My God.
Sorry.
So the thing that happened there, it was that kind of like I kept on world hopping for a while until I kind of like stumble until the one thing that everybody kind of like stumbles upon, and that was um two mutes. One was actually a person that was a mute IRL, and that person was part of the ASL community, and the other person that I met was an animator. So, and that was kind of like the two sides of the thing is that I will say. Like the first one is that you have like the animator and the ASL member. The ASL member introduced me to what is known as helping hands, and it was pretty cool and neat. I think I have heard about Vrchat as a tool to learn sign language like just a few days before I met this person. Sadly, I don't remember their name because it was a person that was walking with a sign, like a wooden sign in their avatar, and they were kind of like trying to get people like attention to learn like sign language. I do remember that I had Ray's name on my Discord, so I tried to contact him to see if they knew each other. They didn't, and I tried to guide that person because that person with the sign that I don't remember their name. It was looking for more people that knew ASL or were willing to learn it. But apparently they didn't know each other, so I tried to make them meet, but that never went anywhere. But eventually, like because I contacted Ray about that person, Ray introduced me into ASL, and that was kind of like the first time that I got into a big organized community. And from there, like there was obviously a lot of people that were always interested about sign language, and they were always kind of like coming in, coming out, trying to check what was about it, what was about deaf culture and things like that. And I was like getting to meet a lot of interesting people. From there, I started to having like some of my first group of friends, and they really kind of like started like what do they say, a VR family. I didn't took part on that because it seemed weird on my head, honestly. I mean, it's a tradition. Everybody has like their VR family or somebody or a group that they call their family. In my brain, like I kind of like didn't associate it well because I come from Mexico, and family has a really heavy, how they say it, a really heavy kind of like cultural weight, and it's a thing that we take like pretty much like a little bit too serious. But I still consider like a strong group of friends, basically. Um, well, I was going there, and then there was the other group that I had, like the two group of friends. The one that was doing animations. This person that was doing animations was doing kind of like the funny stuff, like colossus that drop from the sky and throw out lasers, or sometimes even like big rapes inside of a single avatar. Because there was not a big rape scene back in the day. Like it was starting, but it wasn't as huge as it is right now. So there was avatars that were basically light shows on themselves. While I was with him, I met like um, content creators, streamers, world creators, and things like that. And eventually, I stumbled upon one person um, that was, how do you say, jabbling a little bit about a thing called um, virtual market, and how it was super cool and it was gonna come and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to look for it. I think I stumbled again into virtual market by accident. And obviously I didn't understood it at the time because they didn't I don't know if they were starting to do translations for it, or if it had like some text. Like I do remember mostly Japanese. Eventually just keep hanging out with that person that knows a lot about things that were happening or moving around VR. They ask me, not they ask me, they tell me about this one event, that it was there because it was mid-COVID or the beginning of COVID, and TwitchCon was about to be shut down.
Oh.
So they wanted to do like this mini event that had like the idea of connect all that people that couldn't assist to TwitchCon. And that was kind of like the first event that I didn't, not that I did like finally uh, step into. And I saw a lot of kind of like interesting names, big names from back in the day, trying to take part of that. And it was pretty interesting. Eventually, I worked with them for a long while, like almost 3 years.
Wow.
And I helped, yeah, and they needed somebody that does graphic design and different kinds of art or icons and things like that, because it was really hard to get one person that was like, this is kind of like the thing with most artists and graphic designers. We are kind of like always moving. We're always looking for the next opportunity, the next big gig, and things like that. So we are always like hopping all around, trying to do something interesting, something greater every time. I was kind of like there because there was like a few things. First of all, like the idea in general, it was really neat. And the second part, it was that although I saw that I could have gone somewhere else and tried to get kind of like my portfolio even more like extended and more variety and all that stuff. I'm sorry if I'm not using the right words. I'm translating everything on my brain right now from what I would like to say in Spanish. So the thing that kind of like happened in that situation, it was basically that I saw that the event actually managed to help a lot of groups grow, because it went from just being kind of like a thing to keep everybody that couldn't meet in TwitchCon into let people meet in virtual reality, and like groups starting to promote in there, and that started to grow up the groups. And curiously, some of my like some of my friends groups uh, that I started to make thanks to being on the ASL community and being with the other friend that was part of the like avatar animations. Like I saw that groups that they were part of started growing, and I was like, man, this really helps like Vrchat or Vrchat groups get together. And eventually, like I stuck up in there just because of seeing that even if I end up like sacrificing a little bit of spending time with friends here and there to help like this group, in the end, like this time that I did here, or well, there back in the day, it translated into my friends having their groups grow stronger and bigger and to get more out there. And it was a thing that I really think it was for the better. It's a bit sad because, like, obviously, I only have certain finite of just like every single creature in this land. I only have a certain finite amount of time in this realm before I expire. But it was a thing that I freaking consider it was for the better, honestly. And yeah, I'm really happy that all like not only my group of friends but even other people that I never met before, they saw the growth, they like were thankful that this happened. um and eventually um there was like a certain like movement or shift, and in that shift I honestly had to step out because I needed to focus a bit back on life. But it felt weird because it was like I no longer spend time with my friends and I have spent so much time in these kind of projects and things like that. I still went back to a roleplay community by the name of Factor Thrones because a lot of good friends and good people and also clients, I will say, because although I never really asked them for a dime because every single piece of art that they requested, it was just fun for me to make. Um, they always kind of like paid me my hourly rate, and I was like, it was kind of like really fun because it was like they were appreciating my time, but also they were giving me a lot of things that I enjoy to work on. Like it was a lot of medieval seals. There's actually a boot from them here that I worked on that still has like a bunch of my squibbles and seals and other emblems that I made for them all over. Uh, I still went back to them, but after a bit, like some of my old friends and contacts like started to ping me and tell me, hey, we're bringing the team back together, and I was like, dips. Like and this group of people were the people uh that now form PJKT.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And they gave me like the position of what's the thingy of art team lead. And I was helping them with arts and graphics. I make them the logo. It was like really quick. Like it's kind of weird because we really barely defined like the whole brand in 2 days, and that was stunning for me, like to even think about. Because in other occasions I have spent like a whole month trying to come with a whole brand identity. and that was like the quickest, honestly. Okay. Here's the story about the PJKT logo, and that's why I feel that I'm a hack and a crack, and my value, it's kind of weird because I have done like logos that I need to do, like what's this thingy, like Pythagoras theorem and like the golden ratio, and have like specific like scale measurements for where every single line is drawn. And the PJKT logo, they gave me, like, I was sitting with one of the directors, Garrett. It was like 4 in the morning, and we were just kind of like, tossing ideas. And I told him, "Is there some kind of logo that inspires you when you see it, that you think, man, this is really cool?" And he gave me Japanese box art for the Pokemon series, and I was like, well, I could try, because if you see the kanji, that's where the spikes comes from the letters. It's a nod to old Pokemon, the old Pokemon like logos in Japan. That's where the PJKT spikes comes from. But I was like, this looks cool, and I was like, okay, and what was gonna be the theme? It kind of like, it was like all everybody started to hop on the voice call, and it's like kind of looks like graffiti. It kind of like looks a little bit punk. It looks a little bit rebellious. It looks kind of nice. It clearly is a little bit kind of like winged or came out of nowhere. It feels kind of like a good scratch or something like that, and that was it.
Oh,
Like, that was VKT, and I was like, my guy, are you sure about this? And everybody just agrees into it, and then we just kind of like work a little bit more into refining it here and there, and then everybody was just in love with it, and I'm like, this never happens. Like, in my 7 years of doing graphic design, this has never happened. What's the meaning of this? And then like the next day we had 2 demo worlds, and I was like, this never happened. This never happens. Like, what kind of production level are we here? But now, yeah, like, I panic a little bit because usually I try to do way more polish, sometimes a little bit too much polish, and somehow it worked, and people love it, people enjoy it. And if people like, even though, okay, I'm gonna do my first hot take of the night. There's professional level logos. I know how to do them. I like them. I enjoy them. Like, people may say that they are boring as heck. Making them is really fun, compared to the other belief. For the public, they just seem like really dumb dots and circles and curves. And first of all, not every logo is for every person. Some logos are made strictly for their, basically their target audience. And I do believe that the PJKT logo does hit a good amount of audience, honestly. Could it be cleaner? Yes. But sometimes, you just gotta go with a leap of faith, honestly, here and there. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not quoting. I'm not quoting freaking a Spider-Verse. Fight me. But no, yeah, I do feel. I do feel that it was just something that came up true and from the heart, from everybody that was at the table. For me, it was like my 6th sketch. I was there like for, like, when I started sketching like in the morning. Like, I only went for 70 minutes or probably less when the sketch for that came, and then I did a little bit of polish, but it kind of just has been. I do also have like a dozen things that people haven't seen. I'm very plus other variations. And I even have like some people on my team that has tossed their own like PJKT variations here and there. But right now, I don't know. I just feel that when we came up with that, it just um like somehow it touches, even though it was like really like it came up in the blink of an eye, honestly.
Wow. So,
Mhm.
camera, don't do this to me. Okay. Uh-oh. The VRChat camera's doing the funny thing
You
again.
break it again.
It's not my fault.
Oh God, he broke it again.
So,
Oh, here he
for
goes.
some reason, the current VRChat camera. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. There we go. Will you work now? Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Hey, he's got it moving.
Nope. For
Or he's
those
moving
wondering
it
what's
too, we
going
don't
on,
know and
for
don't
some
want
reason
to.
in recent updates, whenever I'm in a recording sometimes, the VRChat camera will start opening the main menu. I don't know why. No matter what button I click, I could click the pins, I could click focus, I could click behavior, I could try and hit the reset camera button. It would all open the menu, but I have to exit out of the camera and go back
You
into the
should
camera. It works now.
you should report that on the canny.
Oh, I will. Once we're through with this, I'll report that. But
yeah.
Report it. We're gonna fire the bastard. He can't get his fucking buttons right. Little shit. Oh, that'd be mean. I'm a little shit. Never mind. I got a question for him, Lion.
shoot.
I got a question for him. DeathMap, how'd you get your name? I'm just curious. How'd you get your name?
So it's part of so it's part of a university project that never went anywhere, basically.
Hmm.
Well, no, not that it didn't went anywhere. So, um, it has to do with it's not an anagram. How do you call this? When you mix up your IRL name
Mix up your
into
IRL
something.
name. I'm not
Like
sure.
when you mix like words together, basically. You shuffle letters around.
Dyslexia?
No, that's not dyslexia. I'm pretty sure that there's a term. But basically, I was writing like I was taking every letter from my name and try to shuffle them together. And I
know what he's
saw
talking
like
about.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. You take each
Mhm.
letter of your name and you make it, and then you whip it around and try to come up with something that has your name in it, but it's not. And this is what you get in anybody that has any idea how their name is stretched. If you took each letter of it and try to whip it around, if somebody now everybody knows, now they're going to try to go, wow, it's DeathMap. Let's play with the letters and see what we come up with. It's something we used to do in school when I was a kid. You used to take your name and then flip it around and try to come up with, you know how you take first letter of each of your each letter of your name, put it down straight up and down, right? And then go across and try to make whatever it is. Yeah, you can come up with some weird shit, really weird shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So
in other words, hold on. In other words, not to interrupt. In other words, it's like taking. I tell this to people. You know what stop stands for on a stop sign?
Yeah, I think.
No, it's called start teenager on pill. So you took each letter and come up with your own setup.
oh my god.
I'm not sure that's what that means, Raptor.
Oh my
No,
god.
it's not. But you know, it's just some real stupid shit you do like that. You know.
So again, this was in a Mexican university with Mexican students, and every single person speaks Spanish. And although I was the highest, like how do you say it? The highest guy with. I don't know. No sé cómo decir. Okay, you, the one person that knows Spanish. No sé cómo decir que era el mejor con promedio en inglés. I had the best grades when it came down to English in my
honor roll?
university. Yeah, basically. So, um, I was gonna say, well, I need, like, what the task was, I need to come up with an alter ego, because when you work on the marketing business, you got to be like really really serious and really determined and really clear about it. You gotta choose every single word into the best that you can, in best case, use. I don't know. Like, it was basically, you get really uptight and you don't get to be like you at some point. And that was a thing that a teacher was really kind of like worried, because this teacher was kind of like really short. He had like the funniest name or the best name ever, because his name was basically the same as a Greek god. But this guy like seems pretty serious, like pretty like dead on focus. But he had an alter ego outside of school, and that was the thing that kept him sane. And he asked us to do the same, and that's when, like, I was on my finals week. I was feeling lost and drowned in work. And basically I was dead inside. Everybody was dead inside. But there was this one game that I was playing a lot between classes, which was my favorite game for the Nintendo 3DS, which is called Doukotsu Monogatari, or in English, Cave Story. Cave Story Plus. If you're on Steam, get it now. In that game, you're lost in a cave. Like, you're an android. Like a creature without a soul. You're lost in a cave. You are trying to find your way out. You're fighting tiny creatures here and there. And then when you find like one of the first secret items, it comes with an inscription that says, as long as you keep your sense of exploration, you will find your way out. And then you get introduced to the map of the game. And because with my name I could write the name map, and I was feeling lost on that, it came up with DeathMap.
Oh. Wow.
And yeah, it's kind of curious, because it was supposed that we were trying to kind of like create an alter ego and do a little bit of roleplay with it. It has really blended the things, which is probably not the best thing, honestly. But it's that point of, like, it was a task to try to separate my serious self from one part of myself that still like finds fun into the little things in life. And this kind of like also line up with another graphic designer that I admire a lot, which their name is Aaron James Drappling, founder and owner of the DDC, Drappling Design Company. If you see like most designers, like if you see like the website of the future or things like that, you will always see like a graphic designer with a cap, really clean, like shaved, sometimes no hair, like everybody like really uptight, you wearing like nice polos, like really like fancy dressing, nice pants, nice everything. And then you see this guy called Aaron James Joplin. He looks like a lumberjack, sounds like a lumberjack, acts like a lumberjack, never has worked on a wood mill a day on his life. But his attitude, that is not that serious, it was like a big inspiration on that alter ego. And the other two characters that also went into my alter ego was a little bit of Manny Calavera from the hit game Green Fandango from 98. Game of the Year by GameSpot, and now available. I'm sorry, I'm doing like an ad read.
No, we do not advertise them. DeathMap is plugging them on his own free will. Don't be mad, YouTube.
Yeah, we are not advertised by Double Fine Productions or Aaron James Dublin or Ski.
Part of me wants to jump in with a
I
dumb
love doing
joke.
adverts.
Want to know who we are sponsored by today? Rage. I'm gonna stop now.
No.
God.
But for
Oh,
real, get your
boy.
20 pulls today.
Oh Lord, you know, I do have a question for you, and it is a really it's what I'm interested by. From within the VR community and all the graphic design you've done here, how is it different from what you've experienced in the corporate world? Is it similar between how both groups and communities run, or are they vastly different from each other?
Well, I'll say they are vastly different. Also, no. I'm joking. It's a case by case basis, honestly. It's a case by case basis. So there's the people that are really serious about their company, obviously, and there are people that are really serious about their personal brand or whatever they need. And then there are companies that require like the bare minimum, because actually this was kind of like one of my first mistakes, basically, because I wanted to deliver like my 100% every time and kind of like go above and beyond. And obviously like that's great, but sometimes when it comes down to that, some people don't really need like the fanciest or most artistic like Facebook post or poster, or even like billboard. Like sometimes you just gotta accept that the simplest of works can be just good enough. And because I used to scratch my head trying to come up with the best idea ever, the best proposal ever, every single time. And these are the words that kind of impacted me the most. And this was not only my, like, it was both one of my bosses at the time and also one of my friends that we were trying to do, like, our own business stuff back in the day. And it was like, a veces necesitas solamente un pinche cuadrado, that. And what that means in English is sometimes you just need a freaking square, that.
Interesting.
And that, yeah, and that has been kind of like a running joke, because if you see kind of like my overlay on Twitch, my overlay is composed out of 100% squares and rectangles. And I make it rock, but fucking that's the thing. Like sometimes you probably want like something really fancy, something really appealing, but there are some things that you just gotta think simple, and most companies really need sometimes something simple and quick that they just can do literally on a day. And that's sad, because as creatives you want to always try to express something or try to push like something that will be grateful for the company, the group, the person. And obviously the more that you push for something that's in your mind, the more time you're gonna consume, and time is money, and you gotta respect people's time. And yeah, that was kind of like the main how do you say it, situation back in the day. And when it comes down to VR and and my IRL work, I have found companies that I could do like my 100%, and they told me to lower to an 80, and they are happy with that. Or which is kind of weird. Like you don't usually never hear this. I'm gonna be real with you. Like usually everybody wants your 100% all the time. But when it came down to VR, like sometimes I could do something that for me it was like something that's not impressive, and people look at it and it's like that's the best thing ever, and I'm like, I mean, it's it's pretty much on the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Hmm.
Because yeah, and that's kind of like a thing, because as a creative will always be your worst critic. Probably everything that I have done has been dope as heck, and I will never acknowledge it.
Hmm. You know, I remember a story
Yeah.
relative close to that statement where the artist is always your worst critic. There's an artist, and I've said this one before, and I'll say it again. H.P. Lovecraft is one of his most well-known works. Shadow over Innsmouth was his most hated work. He hated it. He didn't even publish it. It wasn't until after he passed and his family found it, thought it was one of the best works he's made, published it afterwards, and people loved it. So just because you yourself don't like what you make doesn't mean someone else won't.
Yeah. Yeah. But one thing that I will say, kind of like on that route, when it comes down to like anywhere, it's like unless you're really working for a graphic design firm, nobody will really know where you are coming out a little bit short. As long as it looks good, there's some things that you kinda can get away with it. It's not ideal, but there's some kind of like corners that you can cut. Once you are on a graphic design firm, they know they know every single trick that you're pulling. So I have not worked on a graphic design firm, so I have been pretty okay on that sense. But when it comes down to like VR, the only people that have called out my stuff are other graphic designers. Like they have sent me like messages on Discord telling me like, yo, I saw like this tiny little thing that you messed up. Like there's like 3 pixels here, and then like if I throw this line over here, this thing doesn't line up like fully vertically. It's kind of like it deviates to the left like every 358 pixels or something like that, and I'm like, I thought nobody was gonna catch on. But anyways, you go on, and you learn to hold shift while you drag that line the next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what got you into graphic design to begin with? It sounds like you're quite knowledgeable on the subject and you've been doing it for a long time. How did you start? What made you want to pursue it as a passion?
It was my passion.
Hmm.
Here's the trick. Here's the thingy. So I come with a family that really doesn't have that many resources to pay me for a university, so I went to the equivalent of public university, or the government university in my city. So I wanted originally go for game development, as many people, as many dumb kids from the late 2010s. I wanted to go for game dev, but I live in Mexico. The only places that teach game dev are in Mexico City. I needed to travel to a city that I have no familiars or friends around. And then, like, another friend told me, my guy, you trash at math. and she told me, you could try to do animation because you're good at drawing animals. And I was like, that's a lie, but kinda. I can draw with reference like pretty well, but without it, nah. Um, and basically, she told me that there was this kind of like free public university that they were doing like motion graphics and animation. They had like an animation degree, and I was like, I'm gonna go for that. And then I tried it. It was pretty cool. I did a little bit of animation there. I'm not the best animator. Do not ask me for to animate, please. I was really good on the theory more than on the practice when it came down to that. But they also told us about the other kind of animation that there is, which is logo animation. But I really started to enjoy the whole creating a brand the situation or class, and I enjoyed doing the branding and all that stuff. And it was like, okay, you just need to make like everything look cohesive, try to make everything kind of like seem to be a part of everything. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to do that. And I kind of like just discovered, I'm gonna be real with you, like my teachers didn't believe in me because I never drew when I started like university. And I literally just grinded my head against the wall until I kind of like went through it. And when it came down to drawing and stuff, and I just were lucky. I met a lot of cool people. People that are stunned that I have worked on all these events in Vrchat. For what they will believe it's kind of like a life's amount of work, but anyways, and yeah, it was basically through there, like it was literally just putting my head into the fire that I actually got into graphic design. And it's entertaining, like it feels nice. The only thing that I will say that stops me every now and then is just um I will say health more than anything, and machines. Because I run into a really weird situation that every time that I start a project, or every time that I start a project at university, my PC stuttered, and I was like, I'm cursed. I hate it. I'm gonna destroy this computer at some point. I gotta be real. My best designs comes out of pen and paper.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's a curse. It's a curse, and I swear this. It's kind of like not putting all the panels before you turn on your PC after you clean it or break it. If I don't start my designs in pen and paper, they go nowhere. Like either my ideas come dry, or my how do you say it, or my computer just takes a crash, or there's a Windows update that breaks absolutely everything. Um, I start my sketches in pen and paper, or if I start them on PC, I use the most realistic pencil tool that I have at my disposal, because I don't know, it's wizardry. I will be honest, like sometimes when when I was like doing overnight work for my university, or even for some companies that I worked on, as soon as I just pull out like my field notes, fieldnotes.com. Field Notes is actually a brand of books. When I pull out my freaking notebook and I start scratching, there were nights that I just went for so on that I wake up again in my desk, and it's like, I don't remember you. I don't remember you. I don't remember you. Oh, wait, this is the idea that I saw in my dream. This is exactly what I need. Boom. And then I just take a picture with my phone, send it to my computer, and then I just digitalize it in a vector software of your choice, or most of the time being that Adobe Illustrator. Adobe. Anyways, yeah.
Fair.
Uh, fair, yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
everyone
base.
does it their own way. There's no right or wrong way to do things, especially in art. So if you enjoy pen and paper, then it's what works for you.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like when it came down to that. It's just I don't know. I just it's weird. It's my life. It's now or never. I'm not gonna continue this. um, I just stumble onto stuff.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It happens. Like I stumbled into graphic design. I stumbled into the person that told me that hey, you cannot go to for game design, but you probably can go to animation and then from there to game design. And now I'm doing a virtual convention that actually has people that has work on companies and game design in the past, and I'm like, it's just curious, and I don't feel like it feels weird because usually you have a plan that I'm gonna work on this company 2 3 years and then I'm gonna or 1 year and a half or whatever and then I'm gonna hop into this one and then I'm gonna hop into this one and then I'm gonna hop into that one and so on and so forward because that's just how the machine works. The horrible grind of corporate creative work. And all of a sudden I'm just here in virtual reality doing like not fully what I had in mind, but really freaking close.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you another question, mostly because I just may be not knowing. But what
Hmm.
kinds of things do you do in graphics design, especially for PJKT? Like what entails it?
So I sometimes help with textures. I help creating patterns. I help creating color palettes that then the rest of the artists use. I help to do templates for posters. I have created most of the logos, and I help with icons too. I didn't do the icon like if you are in the world at some point you will see that people and stuff have icons above their head. Um, I didn't do those. Those were made by Terrible Pawns on Twitter. Amazing artist. I made the ones for HorrorCon, and they feel like pretty much around the same vibe, but also with a more horror theme.
Mhm.
And yeah, I can like do a little bit of everything when it comes down to digital visuals for uh, PJKT. I have worked on a font for PJKT that's yet to be released.
Oh.
I'm missing like 3 letters. Damn. I have worked on a font, um, icons, patterns, and obviously at some point I would like to work on merch for PJKT. Um, but it's basically a lot of simple graphics, pieces of art, and icons, mainly.
Okay.
Obviously the posters is the biggest part of it because that's kind of like part of the marketing and publicity and all the other extra stuff. And also I do picture editing and I do photo shoots. Actually, one thing that I enjoy doing because it connects me more with community leaders and it also allows my staff to have fun is that we do World Hub photo shoots with representatives of different communities, and we tell them, hey, gather up your community, we are gonna be hopping for 2 hours like this date, and we are gonna do photo shoots around this theme. It either be Valentine's Day, Halloween, um, winter, or so on. Um, it just gives me that's a thing that just gives me like two excuses, which is connect with leads and connect with community leaders and connect with my staff. Obviously have the staff to do something fun and entertaining, and also obviously I use the pictures to practice picture editing and obviously picture taking a little bit, because taking pictures in VR, it follows most of the rules. The tools are just not the same. When it comes down to professional how do you say it, photography. I learned photography and camera work on my university, so I also work with Vanessa Wolf, Wolbibs, and Gersibo. Gersibo, I don't need to teach him a thing. But when it comes down to some other parts of the staff, most of the staff are self-taught. And every now and then, when they are taking films or something, I just shoot them a hint that as, hey, try to frame it like this, here and there, because when you're doing filmmaking, there's like even the camera angle, or where you put like your horizon line and all that stuff, or even like you see like action lines just already on the building structures. That's part, or that can help storytelling when it comes down to filming. So I help overseeing some of those projects too, because I just have kind of like the knowledge on that. And one thing of being on a volunteer or having a volunteer team is that at least you gotta give them a little bit of knowledge back of what they are doing or how they are doing it. I'm gonna say that there are some volunteers that are they already know most of the tips that I have, and sometimes we just go kind of like sit down and we just give back and forwards on tips for graphic design, photo shoots, and things like that. And yeah, that's a lot of things that I end up going for. Media team is quite an extensive team, because it's like we do all the content that everybody, well, not all the content. That's a little bit of a cap. So we do the content that you see on the socials and on the videos, and then you have events team that does everything with the world team too, that you can experience basically. So events and world team, those guys take care of your experiences, and media team, we keep you informed and excited and hyped about what's coming on. It's an all team effort, honestly, like everything that's done on PJKT. But yeah, in general, I do like everything that's graphic design. I help here and there in recording. There's people like specific for recordings, and then there's people that we have to do kind of like art, spray paints, posters, icons, and so on. And when they are not available, I usually kind of like come up with more concepts, or I just straight up like do tasks. Sometimes just coming up with the concepts, coming up with the sketches, and showing up to the team, that helps a lot for them to have an idea of what you're looking for. On the other side, obviously, if life is harsh and everybody really gets occupied or hang up, I try to make a little bit extra time just to finish tasks all around. But yeah, that's basically a little bit of what I do.
Wow. So
I need to do more sketches though. Yeah.
I've got actually got a bunch of questions, but
Mhm.
I will lead with
Mhm.
this. What would
Mhm.
running a festival in VR chat for the kinds like VCAT or what you do with PJKT Fest and all the other stuff, how much
Mhm.
work does it take to function as like a volunteer team in order to get these things to run that not a lot of people will see in the background? Hello, I'm going to quickly interrupt your video. Please come follow us on any of our socials. We have a card down that way in the description, metaversedegen.co. You can find us on Discord. You can find us on Twitter, which X, whatever. Right here in this space, you'll see the @ you can find me, Lion. And as well, we have a Patreon, which we've started a whole other show as a thank you for those who've signed up, such as Training Fangs, Forbidden Zero, and Niche. So thank you all for watching the video on how these games are going. I'll leave you to the rest of it. Enjoy.
Um, it's hard to tell. I'm gonna be real with you. It's hard to tell because everybody has their pace. Everybody has their own experience. Everybody has their own background. So there's people that self-taught, and then there's people that kind of like me that also have like IRL experience. And there's some people that will need like a week to uh be able to finish a whole tasks. There's some people that will need a bit more on that. It's hard to tell for because there's people with different kinds of uh levels of experience, and that sometimes will like bring like different time frames to work on certain tasks. I kind of know, or I interview people to know kind of like what are their expertise, what they are their preferred tasks to work on, like the things that gets them more exciting, so they can focus on those. So the turnout is, uh, if, how do you say it, optimal, and they also are not as stressed, basically. Um, that's a big thing that I gotta take into account with every event. In my case, when it comes down to some of this stuff, like sometimes icons takes me 3 days. The world team takes them like a few weeks to come up with, like, sometimes they can come up with the gray boxing in a day. Sometimes it can be like a few weeks to come up with the whole layout. And this is mainly because we are all like have a first job, and this is kind of like our free time that we use for this. I will say that everybody is really scary fast. It's just that they just have to find the one day that they are fully free, and they have like a full day of rest for their head to get into it. Like that's the biggest like thing to take into account when it comes down to that. It's just that part, because it's been like really really ridiculous sometimes. Like it's like some people tell me like, I'm occupied this week, and I get it, and I try to come up with something on the meantime, like during that week that they are occupied, and then they come back and they are ready, and boom, next day, like, or that night that they say, hey, I'm back, boom, here's your poster, and it's like, wow. And it's things that look amazing. um and that's the thing, like most people on the team are really good, really efficient. It's just that one uh that one job or their daily life that really kind of like takes them. The world team is the one that's the most on top of of what's kind of like having like small advancements when it comes down to the volunteer team of my area is I just kind of like try to find the best ways that I can make their job lighter. Like if they tell me, hey, I need pictures for this, or I need a background, or I need like a logo, or I need a set of icons, or I need all that, I either find it or I make them. So when they are finally ready, they just work it together, throw some effects, and they get it out. But it depends really on the person. Like there's also like I have people on the team that are way more into more classic style of art, so they can like also start like me, like in pencil and paper. And pencil and paper, yeah, pencil paper, it's good. And they do like a high quality work, but those guys I can like tell them like, okay, I gotta take into account, I gotta start early in the works with this person, and that's just how I arrange things. Like I know strengths of every single person. I try to understand what are the things that stop them from doing the things that they want to do, and I try to adjust accordingly to that. So everything just ends up kind of like being a thing that they want to work on because it's volunteer. I need like I want them to learn the skills that they want to learn, and also like to show to the let them show to the world the things that they want to do. Basically, it's hard. It's hard to say when it came down to HorrorCon. If you want, like, I'm probably totally derail that answer, but when it came down to something like HorrorCon, I think it took like I cannot say for the event site, but I know that the whole world and everything, it was like 100 hours of work.
Wow.
Uh, almost per person.
Wow.
But everybody kind of like tries to. We kind of like started like really early, and we really tried our best to have everybody do their own schedule, so things were in line. But there is pretty much a lot of work that people won't ever see, honestly. Um, well, they see the final product, but there's a lot of work that people will never know that goes behind these things. I mean, I may say this just for us, but I wanna bet that other groups that do even larger scale events, kind of like the ones that you mentioned, those guys, wow, like those guys also, like if everybody's doing like 100 hours for one event in PJKT, even if it was like HorrorCon was the smallest event that we did last year, um, just like imagine like that was a 2-day event. Everybody did like enough hours to, I don't know, get to level 80 in World of Warcraft with no XP boosts. And for, when it comes down to Fest, that amount of work was larger. And if you go to other events like BCAT, I wanna bet that their number of work that they do, it's even larger, and they do have like obviously a combination of employees and volunteers and other stuff. Most conventions, even IRL conventions, have volunteer teams. I wanna bet that the hours just are ridiculous when it comes down to that, and it's I will say it's just part of the course, and obviously most of the public will only see like the surface level.
Mm.
I do have started to have friends that have trying to go to other conventions, both IRL or even other virtual conventions. I have one friend that's trying to do like their own project that I cannot disclose, and he's really been telling me that how, and I'm like, we are just probably the right group of people on the right place at the time right now. Like that, like it's hard to explain. Like there was kind of like there was actually a small short that came out today. I think it was Celeb City. I don't remember the TikToker, but it's kind of like you. It's just PJKT is just probably the right people on the right place right now, and we do have like that idea of playing everybody by their strengths kind of deal, and we just know each other and we understand where everybody comes from, and it's just keep doing that, like playing towards strengths on those kinds of situations. I don't wanna say much, but right now just for this fest, um I wanna bet that we have kind of like gone already for the I have already gone for the 40-hour mark of things that I have worked, and I still have 2 more months. Well, not 2 more months, kind of like month and a half to work on. Um, so yeah, it's and I know that there's people on other teams that will require like more or less time that I do. So yeah, man, I'm probably gonna need this part edited. I'm not sure, but anyways, yeah, it's just really hard to put a number into it because yeah, it's just that everybody works at their pace and everybody does their best that they can.
Well,
Um,
I would say everything you said to me made a lot of sense because there's a lot that seems to go into it in the background, and I can only imagine you can only
yeah.
put like an out number of hours, but just getting a little of a bit of insight,
Mhm.
knowing what goes into the events and how many people are involved and how long it takes those people to run it. It's pretty good insight for those who would show up to a thing like
Yeah.
VCAT or Fest and not put any thought into it. There's a lot of work goes into those things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. Also, right now that we are kind of like like right now, this is before Fest 2024. Right now, like I'm sitting in calls for 6 hours, like from my afternoon, like all the way up until I need to eat dinner. Like I sit down for 6 hours. I kind of like constantly going back and forward with some people on messages to check up like on tasks or things that they need help and things like that. Sometimes like with some people of the team, like just throwing ideas back and forward, checking what they are up to, what they need help into, while I'm also trying to do both my uh work that brings money to my table and doing like PGKT. And it's this hard balance of things. So, and obviously there's days that I call and say, hey, that you need this day off. And I try my best to take my day off. Um, because my team is global. Different people will contact me at different times of day. Sometimes that can be on moments in which I'm napping because I'm just exhausted, or that's part of my day ritual when I'm on my day off. Um, and then I just gotta get back on and get back to them, try to bring them all the information so they are not feeling that I'm just leaving them unseen or things like that. Um, and try to fill them up on the information that they require, and that's it. Honestly, that's
Hmm.
just the things of being lead on one of these projects.
Wow.
And yeah, it's work.
I can
Like
only imagine.
yeah, like I might be doing it kind of like volunteer too, because right now we are kind of like still like early. We are really looking on how to finance like everything on PJKT. But I it's kind of like a thing. I said this on another podcast, but it's kind of like a thing that I just signed up myself for, and it's a thing that has been always in me since like the previous events and previous things that I have held run back in the day. Like even if they have brought like literally like not a cent to my pocket, um, I'm just aware that this is kind of like what it has to be done
Mm.
to see like all these groups grow basically. Like because at the end of the day, like the thing that really pushes a lot forward is the gratification that we see. Like it's it might not be a penny in my pocket or anything like physical, but just seeing people having fun, people like seeing their communities grow, people being excited, saying thank you. It was a great event this year. That's one thing that has always pushed me forward every single year that this has happened. Um, and it's a big task, and it feels daunting here and there. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
Like people may see that this is kind of easy. Like doing it right is the hard part, tbh. But it's it's something that feels um something inside us, like from different parts of staff and different parts of the team, different directors too. It's just that part, like we see like people really coming together, breaking bread. Like I'm not gonna lie, if we had to put a price on like every single event that has happened in VR, I wanna bet that every event, without extra permissions and everything like that, um, it will be like a really ridiculous expense that not many companies will understand. Why will you come out and do this? But we do it every single year, and we just get excited. Like we might be tired like the week before the event, but when the event hits, it's just kind of like a refresh. Like we are excited, we are hyped, we are happy again. Like we might have like run an issue with the SDK or the world just kind of like getting like half corrupt or not loading everything correctly. That's why we have done lots and lots of research and lots of assessments this year to have everything to be smoother and done early as we can. Also ask for help and advice from other people and other events too. And basically that part has really gotten like better, I will say. And honestly, this is probably the one fest that I'm gonna be able to enjoy the fullest.
Mm.
Not saying that the last one I did enjoy. I enjoy it a lot, but this level of work, like the last fest was done in 6 months. This fest we are doing like with a, how do you say it, with a bit more time. Like we're doing like with 2 months extra, probably a little bit more, because I heard that the world team has actually gotten it working since after HorrorCon. So there's probably a bigger chance of like at least on the world side, it has been worked for way longer, like way longer. Um, but in general, it's so mesmerizing. Like the end product is really mesmerizing every year. Seeing the people going into their booths, talking the heck out of. I have already cursed like a few times already. I'm sorry for your demonetization.
I don't give a fuck. YouTube may care, but Rapt and I sure don't give a shit. Get mad, YouTube. People
Nope.
swear. I don't care.
No, but yeah, like just having people talking about their booths, their communities, the things that they do in Vrchat, communities interacting with each other, like that's so like refreshing and good to see. Like you don't really have that many spaces like that in here. I mean, totally, if there was like no second job and this was our first job, like everybody on the team, like from the highest to the lowest spot, this is the thing that we want to do. Like if money wasn't a thing, kind of like typical question, if money wasn't a thing, this will be the thing that we will be doing like every single time, honestly. Like like it will be the one thing that we all want to look forward. Like we have like people that lead other groups and stuff and work with other groups and stuff around Vrchat, but this is kind of like the one that kind of like comes up with a little bit of everything together, and we really wish to be able to work this as long as we can. I don't know, I have a lot of joy about all of this. Like, yeah, I might, like, especially like I know that me and a few other directors, if not all of them, like we all kind of like spent like sleepless nights, like organizing, planning, and diffusing information between our team leads and stuff. Um, there's so much more that we want to do for the communities, PJKT, and all that stuff. There's so many things that right now I cannot say because they are NDA right now. But there's so many plans for the worlds and stuff like that. That is like we just really wish that it was like our 100% like all the time, not like only our free time. Like PJKT like really doesn't deserve to be only our free time. We all really want to be like our main focus with what we do. And like so many people wish that, honestly, like a lot of people that do VR things in Vrchat, they wish that the thing that they do in Vrchat was the main thing, like that they do like IRL. I mean, I bet that you wish that Metaverse Degen was kind of like your main job. I guess, I don't know.
Well, yes,
It will be a little bit
it would
stressful.
be
Yeah.
it would be nice to be able to not have to juggle a day job while also
Yeah.
doing 5 to 10 hours of recording and then editing and processing and blah 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 blah. It'd be nice to be able to do that and put everything into it besides like wake up at 5 6 a.m., process everything, do the things, go to work, repeat. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I do agree. It's the same for me.
Yeah.
Like I put in the work I do with bit complaining aside. I put in the work to do because it's fun. I do very much agree. It's enjoyable to sit across from someone such as yourself and learn whole hosts of stuff. It's one of the joys of doing this is the things we can learn from doing it. It makes
Yeah.
every episode worth it to me. As Anais once
Mhm.
told me, and I've said this a lot of times off the camera, I'll say it on the camera now. Anais, you said something to me that made me see things differently and I can't unsee it. He said, in a sense, Metaversedegen is historically documenting things. And ever since he told me that and explained
Mhm.
why, I cannot unsee it and has become part of the mission statement for Raptor, and I wouldn't trade it for the
Yeah.
world.
Ay, ay, ay. Yeah.
Well, I will. I think every other question I would have asked, you've answered. Again, thank you, DeathMap, so very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on and learning all about you and
Yes.
PJKT. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Mhm.
much so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Um.
oh, then no, you.
No, I was gonna say. Um. I do gotta say thank you guys for inviting me. Thank you for giving us a voice. I do gotta say that to everybody that has volunteered for PGKT, to everybody that has spread the word, has invited their friends, has invited their groups to take part of the celebrations that we do. I gotta say thank you all. Like, I know every now and then I receive messages that they feel that they haven't done enough because they just like submitted like a tiny sticker or they just could assist to 2 meetings. Thank you for every hour of your time that you have given to us, and thank everybody that has supported us on Ko-Fi, Patreon. Well, we don't have a Patreon open for the public, but uh, thank you everybody that has been supporting us on different platforms, that has given us a follow. Thank everybody that has reshared, like everything that we have done, because we are literally doing this with every second of free time that we can spare. And yeah, it's been like really great to see like all the communities being excited about this festivity, but also just being excited about talking about themselves, putting themselves out there too. And all the funny moments, like from tanks and trains, like just invading the station, people just doing memes. It has brought something like really nice and wholesome that reminded me of my first days on this platform, and everybody has really come together to make something amazing and wonderful. And yeah, like thank you guys, thank you for everything.
Oh, well,
Hmm.
with that said, where can the audience find you? Of those who haven't followed or wishes to find you or PJKT, where can they go?
So I didn't talk about myself that much. I kind of like just spill the beans all about PJKT, but and a little bit about my past. When it comes down to what's thingy, myself, you can follow me on the twitter.com, now the platform known as X, as DMAP_animations. You can follow me on Ko-Fi. I forgot my Ko-Fi tab. Let me check my Twitter because I have it there. Yes, it's Twitter. You can follow me on my Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/deathmap as a single word. And then we have My Twitch, which is twitch.com/death_map. You can see me there every now and then working on stuff for PJKT or suffering through channel redeems here and there. And yeah, I just here to have to serve the public and to have fun here and there. The streams get kind of wild. A lot of Spanish gets shouted at, but anyways.
Well, folks. Go.
And
Ooh, sorry.
Wait. PJKT.
It ain't done, damn it.
So, I'm not done. I need to plug so much.
Go right for it.
So if you wanna learn something extra, you can go to Skillshare. I'm joking. No, but no, for real. What's this thingy? PJKT. It's everywhere, but you can go to in Twitter or X, now known as, it's at PJKT_com com, and then you can also reach us out through our Discord, discord.gg/PJKT. We are having our festival this year from June 28th till July 7th. It's a whole week. Well, actually, technically, it's a bit more than a week. But we hope to see you there. We hope you appreciate this year and check out every single community. The list of communities this year, so far, it seems ridiculous, like the amount that there is. And as our statement goes, is like besides being like an organization that does VR festivals, we like to help you find your home in virtual reality and help and bring those new users into find what VR is really about and what are the things that got us hooked into this game. That be a role play, a club, or how they say it, or just learning new skills. We hope you enjoy this year and hope to see you there.
Oh. If any of you need to find any links that he mentioned, if you go in the Hoobly thingamabobble right down there in the description, all the links will be there for you to find. And I will also suggest as well, go to PJKT. They've been amazing folks to us. And I've been there last year at HorrorCon and Lens. It's been amazing. So with that said, D-Gens, we'll be seeing the Metaverse. And Raptor, now that you're back, do the thing.
Do my thing, huh? No, I'm probably a little rusty here. Might have to get out a sandpaper and some polish and get this bitch polished out like it's supposed to. No matter what, folks, if you're gone for a little while like I have, and people that come back and everything else, you don't miss much. But when you do, you go, because I can't figure out what the fuck I missed. I missed a lot, and hope to see you around some more. You take care, folks. We'll talk to you later. Bye.